Hey, hello everybody, this is DKG's Avos, and I have a replay here. It is Barcode versus Barcode. I can tell you that the player on the right is actually Succed, and he's going to be our blue player over there, and our red player is going to be an actual Barcode, and I actually don't know who he is. This is on the Korean ladder. And this is where Succed has been doing most of his training. Succed has been living with Root Cats for a while now, training with him. And as I have mentioned previously, Succed played Root Cats on the ladder. Root Cats decided that Succed was a good player and said, "Hey, do you want to join my team?" And as every StarCraft player ever, Succed said, "Yeah, sure, let's do it." So Cats has been hosting him for a while now, and Succed's been playing from South America on the Korean ladder. So the ping isn't too bad for him, I would assume, maybe a little bit. I don't know. I've never actually played on the Korean servers, just because I'm not good enough. So, this is on Belshir Vestige. This is a ZVP, or a PVZ, depending on who you are rooting for, and you can root for Root, and root for Succed. So, I mean, I've been casting a lot of Succed's games lately. He's a really good player. I've really enjoyed his playstyle. I do enjoy watching his games. I think he's a fairly consistent player, and macro-oriented to a point. I think that his micro could use a little bit of work, but I'm sure that Cats is helping him out with that. But I like his builds. I think he's a pretty interesting player. He's also a responsive Protoss in a lot of instances, is what I'm starting to notice. And that kind of reactive style is something that I like just because I'm a Zerg player. So, and it looks like here that we're going to see something similar to like a gateway expand. I'm assuming that we're going to see some sort of an expansion here, just because Protoss have been expanding early against, but we're going to see a Cybercore. So there we go. I'm wrong. Unfortunate, but I would like to see some sort of gateway expand out of Succed just so that he stays up with macro. Not seeing this base yet. He wants to make sure. Well, does he see it? No, he doesn't. He hasn't even scouted yet. Oh man, Succed, what do you have in store for me today? But it looks like this little probe over here going to go ahead and drop that Nexus. Let's see it. Give me Nexus. There it is. Going to grab a few minerals in his mouth and probably drop a pylon there and then return on home. Come on, pylon. Give me a pylon. Give me a pylon. Yes. There we go. That makes up for the gateway expand fail on my part. But having that Cybercore down first does allow him to have Warp Gate out a little bit faster. And it also allowed him to have that Mothership Core a little bit faster as well. So maybe Cybercore expands are going to be a little bit more popular just because of that. Gateway expands have been pretty popular as of late. This little probe, not sure what he wants to do. Maybe he's going to build a gateway to help wall this in. Maybe two gateways. You're not going to wall in with that Cybercore. There's one gateway and a second. There's probably going to be a pylon down here just to complete this wall in just a little bit. And a Zealot going to come down and help defend. And there's a Zergling trying to run around, seeing that there's an expansion. But as of right now, Zergling's dead. So let's check out this Overlord, see what he's seen. He's seen pretty much everything. Let's be honest, that Overlord did come in at basically the perfect time. There wasn't a Stalker here. There was no Mothership Core. No Photon Overcharge to try and scare him out. Not that you would waste a Photon Overcharge on an Overlord necessarily. Mothership Core going to go out here and just kind of run around. Zergling is going to scout it though. Saw it there just a second. I'm fairly positive. More Zerglings going across the map. Doing a great job of keeping map vision. And this Zealot over here going to chase out that Zergling. And it looks like we're going to see some proxy pylons going across the map. And so now we're going to wall in with a sentry, which is actually a really good idea because you can always drop a force field right here. Gateways are really tough, so they do really well in wall-ins. So right now it's just a really safe build. Really safe build from our player, Succed. Got a forge on the way, so he's going to be able to cannon behind this wall. You're starting to notice that there are a lot fewer forge fast expands in PvZ, just because you want that warp gate a little bit faster. It's just one of those things. You know, you want to have that warp gate a little bit faster. You want it as fast as possible. It doesn't delay your tech as much as a forge fast expand will. Mothership Core doing a little bit of damage here, scouting out to make sure that there's no third base. Because if you are 2 base versus 2 base as Protoss, you're doing alright. But this little drone out here looks like he's going to build us a hatchery. So we're going to have a third base on the way. Just not yet. Waiting a little bit. There it is. Dropped right there. And that Mothership Core just having free reign at the moment to do basically whatever she wants. Queens aren't going to overextend themselves to chase down a Mothership Core, even though Queens do beat a Mothership Core just barely, just because of that passive regen. So you can see right here that you've got 210 health and 1 armor. And over here you've got 175. And then as far as that, you're going to do 9 damage. I think Mothership Cores do 8. So let's check that out. Yeah, 8 damage. So it is a fairly even trade there, but because of that passive regen, Queens do win. Queen versus Mothership Core, Zerg wins. Zerg wins also in the drone versus probe battle. But let me tell you, DTs beat basically everything. Mothership Core pretty much beats all the ground units. All these Zealots are going to do a pretty good job holding up the wall. And he's going to drop that Photon Overcharge just because he was so close to maximum energy. He's got not a whole lot that he can waste that energy on. And if you've got a Queen or a Mothership Core that's running on 200 energy, technically speaking, it is a little bit of a waste to have it. And it looks like the stream went down just for a second. I had a few drop frames there. I apologize. I do apologize, guys. Everything is going okay right now. We got a 4th base on the way for our Zerg player, and it looks like Route 16 still got that Photon Overcharge. It lasts forever. A full 60 seconds. The Zealot going out over here just to scout everything out, make sure that there's nothing to attack a probe if it wanted to expand. And just clearing out the map, making sure that he's got vision all over everywhere. Roach is out here, and we've got a Phoenix that's hallucinated going across the map just to see what he can see down in the deep blue sea. 2 of them going across, and you never really know unless you've got observers whether or not these are going to be real. Usually if you see them in 3s, they are real. If you see 1 or 2 of them going across the map individually, they're just there for vision. This Zealot over here going to waste some of the APM of our Zerg player, and going to pull off a few drones. Lost 1 to this Zealot, so this Zealot is almost already cost effective just because he delayed mining time for that long. And then we've got another Zealot coming in over here. He could be able to focus down this Queen if he wanted to, but it looks like he's going to go for drone kills. And so now we're going to defend the Queen a little bit here. Queen's going to go off of creep and slow down significantly, so he's going to be able to pick off this Queen if he's not careful. Good job, Succeed, picking off that Queen. That is a pretty cost-effective set of Zealots right there. Wasting a little bit of APM, wasting a bit of mining time. That's a lot of mining time wasted. Not as important at this stage of the game just because he's got 600 in the bank. However, that is mining time that could have been used other places. That's APM that could have been used other places. That is why you want to harass in StarCraft 2. You want to distract your opponent as much as possible. So Succeed doing a really good job with that. Moving across the map a little bit. And we'll see. He's going to be able to defend this sort of push pretty well. Saw that from one of the watchtowers, I'm sure. And with the Immortals coming through, and really good force fields. Stalkers do bonus damage against armored units. Immortals do bonus damage against armored units. Time slow going down on these roaches, and we don't have quite enough energy for a few more force fields just yet. But there goes one to trap a couple more just for kicks and giggles. Extended Thermal Lance and a Colossus almost done. So I mean, this is pretty good against this sort of play. But he does have the lair tech done. He's going to be able to switch to mutas once the Spire is done. He's going to be able to switch into Massively Air, which Stalkers aren't going to be able to handle. Mass Sentry versus Mass Muta is actually effective. You can go 100 sentries versus 100 mutas, and you will come out on top with the sentries. It's just because of Guardian Shield. Guardian Shield helps negate almost all of that glaive bounce, and you can see range damage friendly units by 2, reduced by 2. That last glaive bounce does next to nothing. The second glaive bounce does almost nothing. The last glaive bounce will do nothing because it's reduced by 2. 1 minus 2 is -1, so you'd actually gain health off of it. No, that's a joke. You can't gain health off of an attack like that. Looks like another counterattack going out over here, and you can see that all these drones that are in the yellow, more mining time lost. Not going to affect our Zerg player who's making a huge bank right now. What he's saving up this bank for, I don't know. I don't see any hive tech on the way. I don't even see... Let's check our buildings tab. Yeah, I don't see an infestation pit, so he's not going to go for hive tech yet. He's got some upgrades on the way. Looks like he's just got the 1 Evo chamber. Let's check that buildings tab one more time. Yeah, it's just the 1 Evo chamber. So he's doing, one upgrade at a time. These zealots working this down, and if this army isn't going to move out across the map, if those mutas aren't going to intercept it, this is going to go down. Is he going to get the cancel? He should cancel it right now, and no, cancel on those... Huh. So that is 350 minerals lost due to that, and a roach. Those 2 zealots are being extremely cost effective. And now, again, we've got APM that is lost just because he had to micro against that roach. Distracting him just a little bit. These roaches are going to come across the map. And there we go, that zealot getting taken out by that roach spine crawler combo. That roach getting all the kills, stealing the kills. That zealot trying to go out across and distract again. Muta's going across the map. This is going to be pretty dangerous because there's not a whole lot going on that can deal with anti-air. Yes, there are stalkers. Yes, there are Phoenix coming out. But are the Phoenix in enough numbers? Let's check and see. We're going to see where the cluster of Phoenix are. Yes, there are enough Phoenix to be able to deal with this, but they are on the other side of the map. So these mutas are going to be able to do a decent amount of damage if they're not focusing on cannons, because cannons are not the thing that you want to focus on. You want to deal with these probes as much as possible, because these Phoenix, just look at it. Look at it. 4 to 4.25. They're going to outrange... Well, if he gets the upgrade, which he's got on the way, they're going to outrange you. They're going to outspeed you. Mutas versus Phoenix is never a good option. At this point, it would be better to have Corruptors, but we've got Immortals out. We've got Stalkers out. These roaches are basically ineffective. If you wanted to go air, Corruptors are the way to go. Just throwing away these mutas is not the way to be. Our Zerg player basically throwing away this game at this point, but he's got 4 bases, and he's got a 5th base on the way. He still has a little bit of a bank, but it's almost gone. He's not too far behind in supply. But what he needs to do is he needs to be able to harass. He needs to send in a ton of roaches and a ton of zerglings over to this base. Take that out. Pull out the army away. Drop a few spore crawlers to deal with the Phoenix so that they can't harass too much. 3 spore crawlers behind the mineral line will scare off almost any number. But you see what this has done. You see how much energy is on this queen. This queen is now almost half energy just because so much harassment has been going on. He's not been able to larva inject as much. See this queen here, almost at half energy. And no queen up here. Must have gone for a walk. All that due to basically all that harassment. So our creep merit has also been lacking because he hasn't had the APM to deal with it. We've got a counterattack going in here. But all these roaches are getting picked up, and that wasn't the place that you needed to be. That's not the way that we needed to do this counterattack. We needed like 2 prong attacks, 1 here and 1 here. Maybe send the roaches down here because they're cannons, and then send a bunch of zerglings over here, just sacrificial zerglings. You've got 500 minerals. You would have been able to afford it. You've got 1,200 gas. You need to pull out of gas and get a few more into your mineral income. I would pull these 6 right here and put them on the minerals because you just don't have enough right now. You've got too much gas. Phoenix right here, going to be able to do a whole bunch of harassment, picking up basically everything, and they have so much health that a queen's going to take a long time to finish it off. And you see that right there, 21 health. Now they're going to be able to turn around and pick up that queen if they wanted to. 1 spore crawler at each base is not going to be able to scare off too much. Now Root Succed splitting up his army to deal with basically everything. This Immortal right here getting weakened down. That Muta could probably step in and deal with that, but getting picked off by a bunch of Phoenix. So now they've broken down the wall. These roaches are going to finish off one immortal, maybe get a second immortal for their efforts, but it doesn't look like they're going to have a chance because he's going to pick up the immortal to save it. What funny things. We got 2 Void Rays out and about, and Void Rays are just really effective against Zerg players. If anybody's watched me play on stream, you'll notice that Void Rays are something that I struggle with as well. You need to have a bunch of Infestors, and you can't deal with Corruptors, so you have to have Mutas. And there's the GG, or at least the single G. And you know what? Zerg player, you played really well, but Root Succed taking the victory. Alright, everybody. This is DKG, signing out for now. And hit the music.